It is a Super Bowl week. Super Bowl Sunday is one of tradition. It's one of great memories.
Yeah, of course.
What are some of your best Super Bowl memories, either from a personal standpoint, it could be something off the field, the game itself. What are sort of your top moments from the Super Bowl?
So my favorite Super Bowl ever, and obviously, guys, I didn't get to live much Super Bowl stuff with my Jets fandom, right? Yeah. But being part of this little bit of time I spent with the Chiefs has given me so much joy over like the last decade. So my first year down here in South Florida, I was flying up and down. I was on like a temporary deal here with VT. And they were kind of like, if you don't do something crazy, maybe we'll keep you. So it was like, I hope they keep me. So I would fly up every week on Friday and spend time with my fiance at the time, now my wife. And I would go up and do that for 8 months. Well, I finally got her to come down for a weekend, and I sprained my ankle terribly, where I was like in a walking boot and everything, and I was still staying in a hotel. But my wife at the time came down, and we got to watch the Chiefs win the Super Bowl when McCole Hardman scored that touchdown to win it. And that's probably my favorite one because I got to see my wife down here. It was like, and I like to, I'm not a big party during the game guy.
Right.
Like I want to sit and watch the game. So anytime people invite me to stuff, I try to make an excuse. Like, oh, you know what? I can't go because like something like, let's just say we always have people over for the game.
Yes.
My wife might not let me go.
Right. We have people over for the game all the time, and usually it's my wife's friends. Okay. And they're like, their husbands are cool, but like we're not super tight. Yeah. But like we can get along. And most of the time I'm like, I'll go outside and watch it outside so I can really get into the game and watch the broadcast. And then everybody watches the halftime show together. Like that's the entertainment moment. And then I'm back in the game because I want to like lock in. I don't want to be talking about, even I love golf. I don't want to be talking about my golf game during I want to be talking about the game or basically just watching and listening to the game.
Now, are you like, obviously you're the Dolphins are your Jets for me, right? Yeah. Is the Dolphins the team that you'd like to see win the Super Bowl the most, or like you want to see the Giants win, or you want to see the Broncos win?
The thing is, the Giants have won more recently, right? And those are some great memories. I had two. I actually went to the Super Bowl when Dan Marino was in it with the Dolphins
against
the 49ers.
See that like 3 or 4 more times,
I did.
Right?
Everybody did. And I was devastated when the Dolphins lost that game. But probably my favorite memory was 1991.
Okay.
Super Bowl 25 with the Giants and the Bills in Tampa. I was a junior in high school.
Okay.
And I drove over with my dad and my two brother-in-laws at the time. We drove over from Fort Lauderdale to Tampa. It was a 3 or 4 hour drive. We went to Burns Steakhouse before the game, went to the game. And the greatest moment may not have been the game. That was Whitney Houston's national anthem, which I was crying. It was grown men are tearing up and crying throughout the anthem. There's helicopters hovering for security because it was the peak, like the Gulf War had just started. Yeah. It was the most like patriotic moment you could ever have. And then, of course, the game itself.
Awesome.
Was incredible, and I had no idea. I was not a Giants fan. I was not I was just rooting for a good game, and it was the Scott Norwood wide right, which led to the Giants Super Bowl, which kind of was maybe a foreshadowing of me getting to play for them. But that experience, just being my dad, my brother-in-law, is like one of those family moments that you remember forever. But the Whitney Houston might have been one of the all-time. I mean, I don't know if there's a national anthem that's ever been done better or more memorable.
She ruined it for everybody in the best way, right? Like, how could you ever match up to that? And then what was it? Was the Michael Jackson Super Bowl halftime the one where he stood still for like 4 minutes and didn't do a thing and had the whole crowd just going absolutely bonkers for him?
Yes.
Dude, imagine the Stones on you to know that every minute you're there is costing probably like $3 million.
Oh my gosh.
And you're just like,
just soaking it all
locked in here.
Yeah. Here's that was the Norwood. Here's Michael Jackson. Yep. We got a little bit of everything on here. Of course. Yeah, the Super Bowl halftime shows, those are definitely always standouts for me. I was at the Miami one when Prince sang Purple Rain.
Apparently that's like a top 3 Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Halftime.
Here's your Michael Jackson just reveling in it.
Just the gall on this guy, and I loved every second of it.
I don't see a lot of people clapping, though. I mean, I'm sure they're yelling. He was just
I don't know if they knew
setting the stage, like what he was doing. Is he frozen?
It depends where in the 4 minutes you are, because for the first 2 minutes you were probably cheering. The next two.
Yes. And I think they even cheered more after he took off his sunglasses. The whole thing was there.
Did you, I don't think we want to really dig in, but you're hearing about like this year's supposed to be a crazy one, huh?
Well, I hope it's been... Because there were a lot of rumors on the internet that he was going to dress, was going to wear a dress.
Yeah, he was going to dress.
I mean, did you watch the Grammys? He was very political at the Grammys with his ice out comments. Yeah. Football fans want to watch football and be entertained.
All, man. That's
if
all
you
we
play your
want.
music, my daughters love Bad Bunny. They love some of his music. I don't even know what he's saying in half of it,
Same.
but I get it. We're kind of dancing around by the pool. You can kind of see it. It's good. That'll be great. If you just do that, it'll be great. There won't be any problems. But if he comes out and he might have that pin on, if he makes some sort of political statement, then it's just going to become a whole sideshow.
Yeah.
But that does feel like a very trendy thing to do right now, especially if you're on the left, is to take shots at ICE and say ICE out. If you had me bet on it, I would say he probably does say something.
I think he probably will too.
But at least I don't know if that's better than the dress or not. But I would rather him just go perform.
Yeah, I'm the same. At this point, I'm pretty much the same. I think that's the difference between, like we were thinking about. I was thinking about it this week, right? I was talking to my mom on the phone, and she told me, because you know what it was? we're talking about cards, right? I have a card with Ken Griffey Jr. called The Show or something like that. And it's got Keith Olbermann and it's got Dan Patrick on it. And I was talking to my mom about how when I was a little kid, because she started collecting cards with me when I was little. Oddly enough, it was my mom, not my dad. And it was every morning before school, I would sit down in front of the TV and I would mock broadcast SportsCenter.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how like that was what we used to resort to. Like that was our getaway from everything, man. That's what we used to want to. We didn't want to deal with the other crap. We go over to sports, man. And that's where we just lose ourselves for a little while. It was the best.
The other thing I will tune in for to see if there's a surprise guest for Bad Bunny. Like usually there's somebody that shows up.
For sure.
Remember Serena Williams was in the halftime show with Kendrick Lamar. Remember that?
Yeah,
like,
she
randomly?
dogged on somebody.
She was Drake, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, maybe it was Drake.
Drake is rumored to maybe be a surprise guest. Cardi B is another one. Mark Anthony, potentially. So we'll see if we get any of those surprise guests at the Super Bowl. The game itself, hopefully it's a banger of a game.
And then let's talk about Super Bowl moments or Super Bowl performances. All right, any big ones that jump out at you? I know we talked about it a little before. You were talking about a couple of them, and I think we kind of feel the same on it.
I mean, my all-time moment, I remember where I was when I was watching it. I was working at ESPN. I was at a buddy of mine's house who was a producer, and we were in the basement, and it was 28-3, and we're all like, this sucks. Boy. This sucks. This game's horrible. Everyone wants to see a good Super Bowl. And Tom Brady was absolutely getting rocked the entirety of the first half until he wasn't. And then all of a sudden he starts mounting this incredible comeback. 28-3 becomes a meme. It's etched in history as one of the greatest comebacks in Super Bowl history. This to me was Tom Brady's most defining moment.
Incredible.
Like when he put the team on his back. Yes, you can criticize Kyle Shanahan for some of the play calling late with Matt Ryan, but that was Tom Brady being the GOAT. Like, yeah, he doesn't even need that moment.
Yeah.
But I thought this was one of the ones where it resonated. This really cemented Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback to ever play.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, you almost need the other team, like Shanahan you were talking about. You almost need them to screw it up as bad as you need to go take it, right? Because it has to be a combination of both. We had Mohamed Sanu come join us on our show the last time we were doing a VT Sports show, and it was when the Patriots were in it. I said he'd be so interesting to jump on because he was on the wrong side of the 28-3, and then he got to go be teammates with Tom Brady. And I was like, what did you learn from the time with him after obviously watching him mount that? And that's what he was saying, man. He just said, you just know in 15 minutes that there's something just so special about this guy, right?
Yeah.
And all right, so my moments are, everything on my moments is underdog stuff. I love the underdog stuff. Start off with the Eli Manning to Mario Manningham.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the greatest throw in Super Bowl history. Fourth quarter, 38 yards. He hits Mario Manningham in this little soft spot in the zone right here. The throw was perfect. The catch was incredible.
Yep.
And that was not, I mean, when I don't even think this is Eli Manning's greatest play, because obviously the Tyree,
right.
What an incredible.
I mean, that's a dime. You can't put that in.
You can hand it to him there. And
right. And Manningham did have to come haul that in.
Incredible catch. And then Nick Foles. What a great job. Let's shout to Nick Foles, man, because he came on, was a backup, wound up 373, 3 touchdowns, and a Philly special. Yeah. And that goes down in history.
Do you remember what Brady did in that game?
He's never had bad Super Bowls.
I think he threw for 550.
Yeah, incredible.
I think he had a Super Bowl record passing yards. And my moment was this play right here, the Philly special, which became so famous when he's out there. You cannot believe they're going to run this trick play, and it goes to Nick Foles, who had such an incredible run. Fantastic. Did you see Nick Foles tweet? No. At the Broncos?
No, what did he say?
When Bo Nix went down, he was like, hey, don't worry, Broncos. You know, the Patriots have struggled against backups before in the past.
That's a great tweet.
Yeah, it was a good one until the weather totally derailed that potential game from being any good.
Yeah, that game was terrible.
Yeah.
I actually like this video itself. We can't hear it, but this whole thing is cool because it's almost like the head coach it wasn't even a thought in his head, and Nick Foles was so confident that he was like, "What do you think about Philly?" And he was like, "You want to run it?" And it's like you like the trust you must have in a guy. He's not your standard backup though, right? Like Nick Foles was really good. He was in the league a long time at that point, so I think the coach felt like I can trust him, man. Let's do it.
Yeah,
so
that was incredible.
Cool.
What other ones stuck out to you?
What all-time I mean, obviously, I grew up watching Eli beat the Patriots twice. So for me, that's probably the biggest underdog one. Obviously, the team that was making a run at the greatest team, maybe in sports history, not just football history. That was probably that one. I thought maybe the greatest play is James Harrison.
Yeah.
Pick on the goal line. He went 99 yards, and he's a big body too.
Yep.